Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight, we have a very special guest, one of my podcast girls. So, tonight we have Kaydra from Perplexity, a mystery podcast. So, Kaydra's podcast started in December 2022. Kaydra's podcast covers a range of things: true crime, paranormal, dark history, weird science, and much more. So for those of you who are interested in checking it out, but you want to know a little more because you maybe haven't heard of it, let's go ahead and bring Kaydra on and we will chat all about it. Hi, Kaydra. How are you?
Hello. I'm so good. How are you, Danny?
Good, thank you. And I'm excited to have you on here so we can talk about your podcast and you, of course.
I'm excited to be here. And yeah, I haven't done an interview in a while, but I'm looking forward to answering any and all of the questions and yeah, just like seeing what people have to say.
Yes. So, well, first, so we met in person at CrimeCon Denver
We
last
did.
year.
Yeah.
So I knew of you through our group podcast, group chat, and
Yeah.
then officially got to meet you in person. And yeah, that was your first CrimeCon, I know. So we'll get into that a little bit later.
Awesome. Okay.
And when people are coming in, you guys, if you have any questions for Kaydra at the end, we'll definitely get some audience questions in. But first, before we get into your podcast and CrimeCon and all of the things, first, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what you do?
Yeah, sure. So I am Kaydra, and I was born and raised in Texas. I live in Austin, Texas now, but I was in like the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a long time, so I know that area really well. I am a speech language pathologist by day and a podcaster by night. So I work in like adult neurology, mostly outpatient, see a variety of people there for like voice, swallowing, cognitive therapy, all kinds of things. So that's like where I get to flex my medical, logical, sciency side. Um, and basically, I got really burned out during COVID. I was working in a hospital and have always had a creative side, but I had kind of lost that. And I was like, what could I do? What could I do? And I was finding some things like I was gardening and I was doing yoga and like these are all great things. But I just felt like I was missing something. When I was younger, I used to do acting. And I was like, oh,
Okay.
well, maybe this, maybe that. But I needed something where it was like, I can do this from home because we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Mm.
And I loved podcasts. And I just thought, why the heck not? I've been a writer a little bit. I say that very loosely, but like that was one of my creative outlets was writing and always liked music and things like that. And I just was trying to think of ways to integrate it into a podcast. And so Perplexity was born from that. And then it just turned into a passion project. I was naive about it, like, oh, this will be a hobby, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then here we are over 3 years later.
Oh my goodness. I will say that is a similar story to what I hear a lot of in regards to a lot of people. I mean, myself included, kind of starting YouTube during the pandemic. And actually, I started over. I was a co-host on a YouTube channel strictly about the Charles Manson case, and actually, one of my co-hosts, Paul, is in here. And then Mr. Beckham, he came with me to CrimeCon last year to help me at my booth. I'm not sure if you guys ever got a chance to interact, but he was my co-host there too. And he is actually from Texas too, the Dallas
Oh,
area.
very nice.
So yeah, he'll be at CrimeCon this year. So I'll have to introduce you guys because you guys live
Yeah,
pretty close. So
that'd be great.
yeah, but during the pandemic, yep. I
Yeah,
know
it
it's terrible.
started December 2022, so we were kind of coming off of the pandemic, but yeah, I was working full time during COVID and got really burned out and was like, okay, I'm going to start doing contract work and I cut my hours down And so then I had a little extra time, and then I was just spending more time at home and was like, yeah, what can I do? And yeah, it's crazy where it's gone since then. And honestly, like the thing I've been the most thankful for is just the people that I get to meet. It's been such a welcoming community, and I really wasn't sure how that was going to go, but I love it. So I'm
Aw.
excited for CrimeCon, and yeah, I love our group chat, even though I don't get to like be in it as much as I want to because life, you know.
Same. Like you miss our group chat. I love
You
our group
guys.
chat. I was actually telling one of my coworkers today, like I was just like, I love these girls. Like I love these girls. They're like
Yeah.
my sisters that I never knew I had until I like met them. And you miss a day, you are like scroll. Yeah, there's a
That's
lot.
what I was gonna say is like it's crazy though, because if you miss a little bit, you miss so much. And so I am just
Mhm.
and I am someone who I don't have notifications. Like I read all my text messages. I am chronically behind always in that group chat. I don't know where these ladies find the time, but
Oh,
everyone is just so supportive of one another. And that's been the coolest thing is just being like, hey guys, I have a question about this, or I really need help with this, or blah, blah, blah. We
mhm.
all have our strengths and we all have areas where it's like it's uncharted territory. I think listeners don't always realize that sometimes. Like, we're not getting paid to do this really. And like, we're not professional anything really, usually in this realm. So, having that group, that think tank where it's just very supportive and feminine, and I don't know, I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah, and just genuinely wanting us all to succeed. Like
Right.
that's the thing. Absolutely. Yeah. We are so, yeah, so similar minded in that and like very thankful for this group, but which I'm excited. CrimeCon coming up, a couple more months.
Yes, I'm very excited.
um,
It's important. It's important to have your people.
yeah, absolutely. So for true crime and what you cover on your podcast, is that the type of thing where the topics that you cover that you've always been into, or was that something you kind of gravitated towards later in life?
That's a good question. So it's definitely something that has like evolved to another level doing this show. But with that being said, I grew up in a true crime enthusiast, not the greatest term, you know what I mean, kind
Yeah.
of household. My mom watched like Investigation Discovery and we watched CSI together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was always a thing. And then the other thing that I always like to tell people too, where it's like, oh, that makes sense. My parents were very creative. So my dad is a writer. He's also an actor and does voiceover. And then my
Nice.
mom is an accountant, but she's also very creative, like does a lot of things with her hands, great designer. So that was like just the environment I grew up in. We would like do theater and stuff from the time that I was 3 years old. So I just always loved stuff like that. And we would watch like unsolved mysteries and all kinds of things like that. So that's the household I grew up in. I knew that's like where I wanted to go with the podcast. And I knew I didn't just want to do true crime because
Mhm.
I would get so burned out. Just for me personally, I have so much respect for true crime podcasters who are like able to do that because I maybe it's like an empath thing, but when I cover a true crime case, I will purposefully spend at least an extra week, if not longer, researching it, and I'm very, very tired afterwards. So that's the nice thing about this is I get to do something different every week, and then it's also
Mhm.
just stuff that I like to learn about.
That's cool because yeah, like and like absorbing so much true crime, it can be a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot. It's a lot of the topics and cases we cover, they can be very heavy. And yeah, to have that kind of, okay, I'm gonna just mentally focus on, a different topic for maybe another week or two is so much needed. So
Right. Well, and I think um there's something to be said about novelty for a lot of people, and I feel like for me, something that I've noticed in the true crime community that can be negative is sometimes you get lost in it and you get kind of desensitized. The best way
Yeah.
I can explain it is working in healthcare. There's a lot of morbidity. So, like, I could be working next to a doctor who says something like appallingly morbid about a patient or something where I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe you just said that. There's similar things in true crime where someone says something and it's like they don't necessarily do it intentionally, but they just
Mhm.
forget. And I feel like that's something that could happen if I'm like doing cases like this week after week after week. So I think the novelty of it is nice because there's always something new, and it just kind of, when I do get to do a true crime case, it reminds me and kind of puts me in that situation again of like, Kaydra, this is important. Like, you
Mhm.
need to tell these stories in a way that honors this person.
Yeah.
And there is this level of responsibility that I think we have as content creators that sometimes people lose sight of. So, and
Mhm.
I'm not saying by any means that I like do things perfectly. There have been plenty of things where I like listen back or like learn something later, or where I'm like, damn, I should have done that different. But it's important to think about those things for sure.
Mhm. Absolutely. Yeah, we all have those moments. And I think a lot of, when you start with, yeah, I personally, if I find a new podcast or, YouTube channel I'm Wicked OCD. I'll go to the beginning and then catch up.
Oh, you're one of those.
I'm one of
Okay.
those. I'm one of those. But I see how the channel or podcast evolves. And I
Hmm.
think that's so cool because growth is so important. And you kind of see where, over time they kind of get that confidence to, do things, a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe kind of they were like, oh, gee, I'm kind of nervous on talking about this case. How
Uh-huh.
do I, like you said, how do I be respectful for this or for that? But then they find their footing and they learn their way,
Right.
or their channel just kind of takes a turn for a little bit. And I think that's so important to kind of have those moments where, at least on your own content, you look back and you're like, oh. But along the way, it shows growth to your audience. So I think that's really important. Um,
Exactly. Yeah, there was definitely a moment, I want to say maybe like 2 years into the podcast where I was like, should I delete my old episodes? Like, I was really thinking about it.
mhm.
And I was like, you know what? No. And I'm at the point now where I firmly believe that the people who are supposed to be here are supposed to be here as far as like my listeners go. And it really does show where we've grown because dear God, like I was recording on a floor in my closet with my cell phone and like a little blue Yeti. I had no clue what the heck I was doing at all. It is completely self-taught. And I think that there's something cool about that.
Mhm.
But at the same time, yeah, like she grew for sure. It's definitely something where I'm learning something new every week. But yeah, I decided to just keep all the episodes, and it's like it is what it is. Yeah, that's part of the
Yep.
process.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. So Beckham, I saw you pop in the chat. So like I mentioned, Kaydra, Beckham is my weekend co-host and my old Manson show co-host, and he came with me to CrimeCon. And so Beckham, Kaydra's from Texas too. She's in your area, so you guys will have to connect because he'll be there at
Yeah.
CrimeCon Vegas.
Oh,
So
definitely. Yeah, that
yeah.
would be great.
Yeah, as soon as they said Vegas, he was like, all right, I'm booking now.
I
So,
have only been to Vegas once, and I was like 16 when I went. So I couldn't do anything. So I'm excited to
girl, we're
go
gonna have
back.
so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. With that
We're
group.
gonna have so much fun. Yeah, I was just there in April. I've been
Oh,
several times before, but it was like part of a family trip, so like had to kind of behave. But it's so, oh my God, we're gonna have a blast.
yeah. No, I know. I have no doubt. And all of the content that, like, ideas that people are already having, and like ordering t-shirts for everybody. And oh, we're going to have a sparkle night, guys. We're all going to wear a sparkly
Yes.
outfit. We're already planning.
The girls group chat has, I mean, we are prepared. We are prepared to
Very.
take Vegas by storm.
And we will.
Oh goodness. So, um, just to jump back to kind of off of a little bit of the true crime subject. So you do cover other topics on your channel, again, like paranormal, dark history, weird science. Can you describe a little bit of what that means or what people can expect? So if people haven't listened to your podcast, like what does that mean? What can people expect when tuning in?
Yeah. I the way I like to explain it to people is I like to think I have a foot in both worlds. So like because I have this medical science background, there's like that part of my life, and that part is like more skeptical and less woo woo, if you will. And then I have this other side of me that is more creative and spiritual and curious, like, oh, like, well, what about this? What about this? I've always been a very inquisitive person. And
Mhm.
so that I think is what attracts me so much to things like dark history and paranormal. It's funny too, because I was not a history person at all before I started this podcast. It like
Oh, that's
this
funny.
yeah, this podcast like made me fall in love with history actually. And my dad's always been really big into history, and I was just like, yawn, ugh, boring. But now I'm like, man, I get it. And I think it's a lot about how the information is presented. So like
Mm.
what people can expect is I purposefully very much try to be, here's the information. It could be this, it could be this. I don't know. What do you think? And so it's open that way. And I think that that's something that I've liked about like I've seen other shows that do that same kind of thing, and I like that because it just helps you make up your own mind, and then you get all the information. Sometimes that's hard. Um, and obviously everyone's biased. I'm biased too, but I do try to be intentional with that in my show, and that kind of adds to the perplexing layer of like, oh, what if this? What if this?
Yeah. That's really cool because yeah, I mean, like you said, every kind of content creator when they're putting something out there's a little bit of bias. Sometimes it's like a lot of bias and it's like it can be a little bit off-putting, but to leave
Hmm.
as a listener to hear your podcast and to walk away and be like, okay, like you're presenting me with everything. You're not just let's look at this and exclude the rest.
Right.
It's pretty cool. I like how you do that for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, there's definitely some stuff that's just so silly where it's like, okay, obviously this didn't happen, guys. Like let's just have some fun. But I would say overall I tend to be more like, here's this. Okay, now here's the fun part. Let's like put our conspiracy hats on for a second. Okay, let's take them back off. Let's be mindful, because things like that can be harmful.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
for sure. Has there been a case that you've covered, whether it's on the true crime end or the paranormal end, um, that you've done on your channel that has stuck with you throughout, even to this day? And if so, why?
Yeah, absolutely. There's several of them. I was thinking about that before we came on, and I thought back first to like the first kind of big true crime case I ever covered because that was very humbling, and it's also a very heartbreaking story. So there's this case. It's also not far from where I live. It's in Bexar County, which back when I recorded it, I said Bexar County, which is part of the humbling part because it's Bexar. It's pronounced bear. I know that now for people who might listen to this episode. But the point is, it's called the Inaqua Springs tragedy, and it's an unsolved case, still unsolved. And it is about this woman named Nicole Olson, who allegedly, I don't know if there's any words like for like murder and stuff like that that we will get flagged for saying on here.
Nope, you can say whatever
Okay,
you
okay.
want.
I just want to like, well, trigger warning before I continue. This is a very disturbing story and involves children. But so this woman allegedly murdered her two young daughters and then turned the gun on herself. I had a listener reach out to me saying that I should look into this case. I had never heard of it. And then when I was looking up things online, there really wasn't a ton of information about it. So I was like, huh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. And he was like, I actually can put you in contact with someone who worked the scene, but they want to be anonymous. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. And I'm like, baby podcaster. I don't know what the heck like, I don't know what I'm doing. But I did from the very beginning know I needed to be thoughtful. So she talked to me anonymously and basically was like saying she was part of the crime scene cleanup crew. And from everything that she saw, she very, very, very strongly did not believe that this woman did this to her children or to herself. She believed that it was a homicide. And basically, it happened in the woman's boyfriend's mansion. And as I started digging into things further, there were like clear signs that he was abusing her. Um, and it's just extremely unfortunate. It's one of those cases where it's like, if this man, in my opinion, didn't have so much power in like politics and in government in that area, then maybe things would have turned out differently with this investigation. If they would have handled the forensics better, which is like such a common and unfortunate thing in true crime cases.
Yeah.
So I think about Nicole and her daughters. I believe their names are Alexa and London. I've thought about that case very often. And it's just a very upsetting one where if it's one of those ones where you just kind of read an article online and you're like, oh, well, then obviously that's what happened. And then you like keep reading and digging and you're like, whoa, wait, 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 wait. And that was kind of a moment too where I was like, how how often am I reading something in the media and just buying into it totally? And how harmful is that when we're talking about things like this, the gravity of the situation? So, yeah, that was a humbling one for sure. And yeah, so if people want to look it up, it's called the Inaqua Springs tragedy. I think it happened around like 2012, maybe somewhere around there.
Okay. So it's still relatively recent.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, depending on, yeah. To me, it's still relatively recent, but some people be like, oh, that's so long ago. But, and you said
Right.
that was close to you as well.
Yeah, it happened in Bexar County, which is like around the San Antonio area, and I live in Austin. So I mean, it's not that far. It's probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe
Yeah.
from where I live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely people should check that out well, check out your coverage of it for sure. But yeah, definitely look into that. I've never heard of that case.
Yeah, no, I hadn't either, and I do remember the YouTube video getting some traction, and I do remember somebody that went to school with one of the kids saw the video and was commenting on it and like thanking me for covering it. And that was another moment where I was just like, "Oh, people will see this," which sounds so dumb. Like obviously people are going to see it, but I don't know. It was this reminder of the importance that we have and the duty that we have of like we need to be very mindful of how we tell these people's stories. And it's also like a powerful thing because in a way then these stories don't die with these victims. We can continue
Yeah.
to tell them. And that's something that I think is very powerful and important.
Mhm.
So yeah, that case definitely sticks with me. Um, and more of like the paranormal realm, I again just like think back to earlier episodes because it was also new and like so exciting. And episode 4 was about, it's called Heolfanog, the Hellfire Farm. I want to say that was in Wales. I know it was like not in the US. It was like a foreign case, but it is like seriously one of the scariest freaking stories I've ever heard. I remember reading it and I just scared myself and I was like, well, recording this is going to be interesting. But it's like this couple that went on like this honeymoon, I think, in Egypt, and they were going through the pyramids and really creepy weird things were happening to them while they were in the pyramids. Like they had this like orb that was following them, and they had like this really dark energy where they felt like they were like, okay, we need to go, we need to leave. And then like I think they got sick and then they ended up flying back home, but it seemed like something followed them, and there was just very scary things happening in their house that like the husband, the wife, and the kids all attest to. And then they also had like friends that would go visit them, and just weird things would happen when they were there, and like their car would die, like just weird stuff. So that one's a very creepy one for sure. And they were basically thinking that they disturbed this tomb or crypt in Egypt, and they angered Horus, which is this Egyptian deity. And so then they basically were cursed after that. But it's a very creepy story, and I remember somebody commenting on it way back when, where they were like, this is one of those things where if someone doesn't believe in the paranormal, they need to listen to this episode. And so that might be a good one for people. And it's also like very OG, where I didn't really know what I was doing then. So if you just want to go for a good story and like all of the bear, like here I am, and you still like it, then great, you know.
Baby Kaydra as a
Baby
podcaster.
Kaydra, yes, exactly. Before I knew how to do any sound editing.
So, Clip, I'll ask this now because it's very on point to what we're talking about. So, Danny, ask her if she's ever looked into the paranormal stuff around Taos, I probably mispronounced that, New Mexico.
I think it's Taos, but they can
Taos,
correct
yes, thank
me.
you.
I might be wrong too, but so no, but I have had a couple people recommend that. I have a friend who lives in Los Alamos, and he works in like engineering and some stuff that like he can't really talk about, if you get what I'm saying. But yes, I've heard of things like that, really weird things going on in New Mexico, also of like the alien variety. There's, you know, a lot of interesting stories from there. I know I've covered some like weird cryptid stories before from that area, but I haven't ever covered Taos specifically. But something that a lot of listeners seem to like is when I cover their hometown. So something that I've done a couple times is just like look up all these weird stories, like folklore, paranormal, cryptid, and it'll just be all these little montages of stories about one town. And so that could be something for Taos. And I take listener requests all the time. So I will look. Oh, I said it correctly. Great. Good.
I mispronounce so many things every week. So
do I. It's
I had a
okay.
feeling when you said it, I'm like, you know what, that sounds good.
So do I.
Adds Los Alamos is spiritual as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Unsolved couple. Hey.
Oh,
Have
hello.
you guys ever done, or Kaydra, have you ever done like a ghost chat app hunt kind of thing?
I have. Yes.
Tell us about it.
I have two stories I can tell you. I started doing that recently. Like this has been in the last year that I've built up the courage, because I was so scared. And I also have said several times that I will never touch a Ouija board, and that still has not happened. But so the ghost hunting apps, yes. The first time was on the Queen Mary in Long Beach, California, which is allegedly a very haunted boat. And I would attest to that after what happened when we went. I went with my friends, Cassidy and Amanda from Drinking the Kool-Aid podcast, and a couple of other people. We were walking around and we had our app, and basically one of the first things that came through, it's basically a spirit box for people who don't know. And it'll like say, like in text on there, whatever you heard. That way there's no question. You know how some people will hear a sound on like a spirit box and they're like, I think they said he went to the mall, and it sounds like like it's not like that. It'll like literally say it. So ours very clearly was like Leonard. And we were like, oh, are we talking to a Leonard? Okay, what's up? Hello. And then it was things like protect. Oh, are you trying to protect us? What's going on? And we got the sense that Leonard was following us throughout the ship, and also just educating us. We walked past this guy who was giving a tour to like a whole group of people. We were just doing self-guided walking around. And when we walked past this guy, our app went rumor, because the guy was talking about oh, and on this night, so and so died, and this happened, blah, blah, blah. And it went rumor, as in, like, that's not true. And
Yeah.
we were just like, oh, he's like telling us what's up. And then, like, there were certain like doors we would want to go into, and he would like tell us not to go in there. It was really entertaining. And then there were just a couple of like weird things where we had in that same interaction, it was saying a bunch of names, and some of the names it was saying were very specific and like spelled a certain way. And our friend Kate that was with us, and we weren't using her phone, she had like a group chat going with her coworkers, and it was the names of those coworkers in that group chat that
Weird.
the ghost app on Cassidy's phone was saying. So it was really weird. And then it was also like saying things that were like intelligent that had to do with as we were walking throughout the boat. It was like Kate had a pale ale in her hand and it said pale ale at one point, and then it was like talking about some of the signs that we would like be reading. So very strange. And then not too long ago, I want to say around Halloween, I went to Fort Concho in San Angelo, which I have done an episode on. And I went with my friend who's like a local there and a couple other friends who are also locals. And that was crazy. It's like an hour-long video. I put it on Patreon, and I have showed several of my friends. And if you like DM me and just want the link, I'll send it to you. But it was crazy. It was very crazy. I had never done anything like that before. I bought some like dowsing rods and a cheap EMF reader on Amazon and got my little ghost tube app and was like, whatever, let's just walk around and see what happens. And we hadn't been there 5 minutes. And when we sat down on this bench, when I tell you, like the hair on the back of my neck was standing up, and I like literally felt like this wave of heat, and I could feel something like in front of me when I was sitting on this bench. We got a lot of activity, particularly with the dowsing rods. And for dowsing rods, for people who don't know, it's like these little metal things that you hold, and they will like turn inward for yes and turn outward for no. So you can ask yes, no questions. And so I was holding those, and my app said slave. And some of the history with Fort Concho is a lot of the people who were soldiers there were slaves before and then became Buffalo Soldiers. So I felt like that might be someone we were interacting with there. And then when we went over to the hospital where a lot of people had died from like battle wounds and stuff like that, we got a lot of activity over there as well. And my friend Cassie, who had been there before, she had this really good idea. She opened her phone and started going through historical events and was like, were you here in this year? Did you fight in this battle? Are you so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And like, we were literally like playing trivia with a ghost. And as soon as she started doing that, my dowsing rods were going crazy. It was like, yes, no, yeah, like very clear, where I was like, there's a point where the camera like zooms in on my face and I'm trying so hard not to freak out. And I am also a very skeptical person. And so when I had this experience, I came away from that. And I think that's another reason I like this show is like, there's just certain things that you can't explain. And I had already like researched and talked about Fort Concho. So that was one thing, but to like actually visit it and experience it and like now know, like, yes, there are things here. It was crazy. And Cassie had been there many times as a child, and she had seen like a full-bodied apparition when she was there that was like in a Confederate uniform, like running around. And so she was talking about that when we were visiting. So it's very crazy. And I do plan on doing some more ghost hunting. Some things are in the works right now. I can't say just yet, but we are planning to go somewhere in Austin, me and some of my other podcasting friends sometime this year. So stay tuned. More things on that.
Oh my God, that's so exciting. Have you done any overnights at any places that you've gone to for that?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, that's in the works.
Well, if you ever come to Massachusetts, where I am, one, we have the Lizzie Borden House. And we also
Ooh.
have the S.K. Pierce Haunted Mansion, which if you don't know about that, Kaydra, you have to look it up.
Okay, I
One of
don't.
my aunt, she does tours there. She's oh my God, what's her technical term? She's a spirit medium. That's the word I'm looking for. So
Yeah.
she's very well connected there. But that's a cool place. I've got to go there several times through her, and it's like in Gardner, Mass. So
Okay.
little out of the way, but yeah.
Worth it.
Yeah,
Massachusetts has
check
been
out
on
the
my
S.K.
list.
Pierce Haunted Mansion. Shout out to Auntie Mimi. She comes in the chat every once in a while too, and everybody loves her. So yeah,
That sounds
super
amazing.
cool.
Massachusetts is like just there's so much insane history there. I did cover the Salem witch trials
Mm.
for I think my 50th episode. And Massachusetts has been on my bucket list for forever. I know Two Girls One Ghost went to the Lizzie Borden house not too long ago, and I
Mhm.
watched their investigation at that house, and it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I went during COVID. So I didn't stay over. I wish I did. I still want to, but it's like so expensive,
I
but it'll be
bet.
so worth it.
Yeah.
I just need to pull the
Yeah.
plug and do it.
Well, that's why
Um,
we're like in the works this year for doing something overnight because it does take a lot of planning. And
mm,
then we're probably just going to all share a room and like split it because it's
yeah.
expensive. There's some places where you can get a pretty good deal, like the Queen Mary. If I do ever go back there, their rooms are not too bad, but they get really busy during Halloween and like sell out
Mm,
and stuff. And so you just kind of have to time things correctly. And then some places also aren't. Some people are very welcoming of weird paranormal ghost hunting people. Other people are very much like, no, like, yeah, we're allegedly haunted, but we're not about that, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of planning involved.
mhm. Well, yeah, if you come visit, well, one, I got you because like Massachusetts, yeah, there's so much here. But the mansion I was telling you about, they do overnight paranormal tours. So
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
that
for
would be
sure.
great. I'm
Um,
definitely down.
Beckham, I'm glad you're in the chat. So Beckham, who lives in Texas, like you do. So me and Beckham went to LA together, God, like 4 or 5 years ago, and we saw the Queen Mary at a distance, but some what's it called, pandemic rules were still in effect, and he was just like, Danny, we
Hmm.
have to go back and we have to stay overnight at the Queen Mary. That's like one of his things. So I would love to do that. I know Beckham wants me to as well. So would you
Yeah.
go back and stay overnight there?
Absolutely. And I saw his comment about how he took a picture of a ghost, and it's reminding me of
Mhm.
a story. So, my friend Cassidy from Drinking the Kool-Aid, native to Long Beach, she was the one who was like, yeah, we have to go on the Queen Mary. And she was telling me that she used to work on the Queen Mary and she did like photography and stuff. And there was a particular time that she was photographing, I think it was like a wedding, and there was this little boy and like the family group photos where he kept being like, stop, don't touch me, stop. And his mom was like, what are you doing? He's like swinging his arm and there's nothing there. And she just thought he was like being a brat. And so did Cassidy. And she takes this picture, and then there's like the separate room where they take them down to like get developed, and then they bring them back up. And she got like on her walkie-talkie or something like, Cassidy, you need to come down here right now. And she was like, she thought she was in trouble. She's like, oh gosh, like what I do, blah, blah, blah. And she goes down there, and it's these photos that she took of this little boy. And there are fingers on his freaking arm, like a ghost hand that's just there. And they still, from what Cassidy was telling me, they keep things like that on the Queen Mary. I don't know if they're displayed somewhere, but she said they kept those photos because it was just so insane and disturbing and like what the heck? And at that time, she wasn't really into the paranormal at all. And she was like,
Mm.
maybe that's what kind of piqued my interest was that experience.
Oh my God, that's wild. That
Yeah.
is wild. Oh man. Yeah, Beckham has shown me the photo before. Beckham, send it to me and I'll send it to Kaydra.
Yes, I would love that. And then I'll
Yeah.
send it to Cassidy and Amanda.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Oh my goodness. So you have a few things in the works that you can't discuss. Any any upcoming things besides that you can discuss? So for example, do you have any events in 2026 or any true crime conventions that you're going to in
Yeah.
2026?
Yes. Well, first and foremost, we have a Crime Con coming up, which that is May, what is it? 20 something in Las Vegas. And I'm pulling it up right now
I
for
just know
anyone
I'm going early to
interested.
make a trip out of it. So
It is the last weekend of May. So it's like 29th through 31st in
yes.
Las Vegas. I don't know the convention center off the top of my head, but I think it's
Caesars.
Caesars. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, Caesar's Palace. So that, for people who don't know, is a true crime convention where true crime enthusiasts, victim advocates, lawyers, people in law enforcement, survivors, like we all get together, and there's panels, there's just like hangouts, there's awards, there's meet and greets. And so I went last year for the first time, and it's in different places every year. So last year it was in Denver, and that was really cool. And again, just like humbling, getting to be in a room with creators that I've looked up to for so long, or like meeting Gabby Petito's parents last year. That was amazing. Just things like that I'm very much looking forward to, and then seeing all you guys again. So that'll be at the end of May. And then I'm hoping, I haven't fully confirmed yet just because I have so many trips this year. But I'm hoping that I'll go back to Midsummer Scream again this year.
What is that?
And so it is a Halloween horror convention in the middle of the summer. And it's usually in August, but sometimes in July. So it just kind of gets you excited for Halloween.
Mhm.
And I've been, I think, 3 times. So if I go this year, it'll be my 4th time. And it's just so much fun. They have this whole section that's kind of like Comic-Con, where some people are like dressed up and walking around, and it's like, oh, the cast from Halloween Town or Paranormal Activities here, and you can go like
Mm.
meet them. Or they have the scare floor, which is, it's in the Long Beach Convention Center, so it's huge. The scare floor, it has like 6 different haunted houses, and then like these interactive photo ops where you can like take videos and pictures, and they'll have food and drinks, and creator row where you can go meet people. And so that's where I got to meet Steven last year from My Favorite Murder.
Mm.
And again, just like a very welcoming community.
Mm.
I know horror is not everyone's thing, but that's part of what I love about it, is that everyone is so inclusive and welcoming, and it's just very easy to make friends. So I am hoping I get to do that again this year too.
And you said that's in Long Beach.
Yes, it's in Long Beach, California, which is also just very beautiful. If you guys have never been to Long Beach, you should just go. It's like, it's just very idyllic and quiet. It's like an hour from LA. So like if
Mhm.
you want more of that scene, then you can like drive there. But if you're like, I don't really want to do LA, but I want California,
Yeah.
Long Beach. Long Beach is great.
Yeah, I got to visit there when me and Beckham went. Yeah, we did LA and we did Long Beach, and oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
It's
It's
very cool. And they have an amazing aquarium there. It's like world renowned. So if people are into stuff like that, it's just like beautiful.
Mhm.
And being in Texas, we just have so much heat, intense, insane humidity and heat. And so every time I go there, I'm like, God, I just wish we had this weather all the time.
I I mean, you're talking about heat. We just got almost 4 feet of snow this past weekend, so I don't quite feel so bad for you right now, Kaydra. But no, absolutely, yeah. The weather there it's just gorgeous all year round. Just
Very much so. Yeah.
um, for CrimeCon. So last year was your first year, which is, oh my gosh, I'm like so exciting for you. I didn't realize that was your first year until
Oh,
you
yeah.
mentioned that when before we came on. But
Mhm.
with CrimeCon, I feel like you did a great job in kind of saying, kind of what people can expect. But there's also so much of, and I don't know if you see it online. I feel like people who haven't gone have like a
Mm.
really
Yeah.
misunderstanding of what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're there, it's so different. So Are
Mhm.
you able to speak? I know you described a little bit about what it was, but was there anything in particular that for you last year that, besides, for example, meeting, Gabby Petito's family, that really kind of stuck with you as to like, this is why this is important and why people who haven't gone don't understand what it's really about?
Right. Yeah. Let me like speak on that for a minute too. Because I've
Yeah.
actually had to talk to a couple of like close friends of mine who are also creators, that like weren't happy that I was going. And so, yeah, I think that, like I was saying kind of at the beginning of this interview, there are things in true crime that need to be fixed, and there are creators and certain personalities and politics, whatever, that I don't agree with. But at the end of the day, this is about victims and families and finding some semblance of justice. This is about laws that need to be changed.
Mm.
And that is the part of CrimeCon that I love. I'll be honest, there were not very many, but there were a couple of things at CrimeCon where I was like, I don't like that. But I will absolutely go back because overall, I loved the people I interacted with. I learned a lot. Um, it's inspiring.
Mm.
And I think that there's a lot of opportunities to learn. So they have classes there for people who don't know that talk about like the latest updates in forensic technology. They talk about like they did this whole one that I went to that was just like victim impact statements where it's like people who really haven't gotten to talk about the loss of their loved one in a way
Mm.
that felt satisfying in front of like the eyes of the law, where they get to talk and like say their piece. And so we got to like listen to them. There was this entire talk about this YouTuber who basically uncovered like this grooming child sex thing going on within Roblox. So there's a lot of important topics that are discussed. And then there's also these walls that you can walk past where it's like people who are missing or like shedding light on different cases. And so I think that things like that are amazing. I also wouldn't have met in person Hope Hooten if I wouldn't have gone.
Mm.
And she is like the sweetest, most wonderful person. I just want everything in the world for her. And she's doing so many amazing things.
We love
She's
hope.
just,
We love hope.
I'm just blown away by Hope. I got a lot of messages after that episode with her, and I'm just blown away by her. And she got to like meet Nancy freaking Grace and like hug her. And regardless of your opinions on Nancy Grace, that's insane. Like, that's amazing that she was
Mhm.
able to actually have someone in that caliber because she was there that was like, sorry, what happened to you? Sorry, production, are you writing this down? We need to look at
Yeah.
this case. Like, no, seriously, we need to look at this. Um, Everybody is accessible. You get to like talk to people that you would never think you could talk to.
Mhm.
So that's why I go. And I think that sometimes people don't realize that. And also if you just go on their website, it shows, it announces every year who's going to be there.
Mhm.
And you can read like it's people from like missing persons, like these like missing they sorry, I'm like forgetting the names, but it's like important advocacy people and like people in law who cover like unshed these cases where we need to know more things about them.
Mhm.
So I think that there's a lot of great things to learn and like opportunities there with CrimeCon for sure. But sorry, that was very long-winded.
No, that is, I was going to say, very well said, Kaydra. Very, very well said. And for people that go, like you get out of it what you want as well, because every
Mhm.
day, I mean, as you know, is packed with like, you could do 30 different things in one day if you wanted. So maybe
Right.
one or two things aren't your cup of tea, or you're like, I didn't come here for that. That's
Mhm.
okay. There's still 28 other things that are so beneficial that you're going to learn from and take something away.
Exactly.
That's why it's important. And like Hope, that's so funny that you mentioned her. I mean, we all love Hope, and she's
Mhm.
one of those people that, through Rachel and Heather, that I'm so fortunate and honored to have met.
Yeah.
But I wish I never had to meet her
Yeah.
at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But if meeting, like having the chance to meet her and learn from her and being able to share her story, and so many others who come to CrimeCon and just walk around and say, like, at me and Beckham's booth last year, families were coming up just saying, can I talk with you for a second? Would you cover this? And it's absolutely, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you said, everybody's so accessible, whether it's, content creators who maybe have been only doing podcasting for maybe a year or two, or, the ones that have been doing it OGs like Esther from, Once Upon a Crime, who's an OG in this, has been doing it forever.
Right.
Everybody's accessible and everybody wants to genuinely learn and share people's stories and connect.
Right. Yeah, I was very nervous last year, so I'm hoping that I'll be better about that this year, because there were multiple creators that I met where I was like, "Hi, um, uh, uh, my name's blah blah blah," which like is the total opposite of how I'm acting on this interview, and like this is how I normally am, but like 1% of the time I turn into like shy tongue-tied schoolgirl, and that was the time that
Oh,
part
that's
of
so
me
funny.
decided to come out, and it was like so embarrassing. I remember walking away and being like, "Oh my God," but they were so nice. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
say who it was, but she was like, "Do you want my I have a notebook here, and like you can write the name of your podcast. I'm like taking lists of stuff. I want to like look you up and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Me? What?" And she like wanted my stickers and stuff, and I was like, "That's crazy.
Oh
You?"
my God.
But at the same time, it's this reminder of like, yeah, why not me? We're all here doing the same thing. And at the end of the day, these are all just people. So
Mhm.
I think events like this give us opportunities to connect, or if you don't agree with someone, to like reach across the aisle and find some common ground,
Mm.
because Lord knows that's what we need right now, you know?
Very well said. I totally fangirled this past crime con. Nicole and Jemmy from like Mother Like Murder. Yeah, I love her. I love her podcast. I love her vibe. She's just covered in tattoos. Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
I was literally just walking, like, I think just to grab a drink or something. And she was just right there. And I was like, oh my God, you're like, I was totally fangirling and I was that starstruck person.
Yeah, I feel that. Meeting Kendall Ray was kind of insane. I was like,
Mm.
I've listened to you for so long. Hello. And she was so nice. And she was like, "What's the name of your show?" And I told her, and she was like, "That's a really cool name. I like that a lot." And you could tell she like genuinely meant it. And I just was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're nice." And her husband was so nice. And yeah, it's really cool. I'm excited to go back. Very excited.
It's cool because, like you said, that like I have not met. Oh, this was my third one. I have not met somebody, um, except for one person, which I would tell you off camera. But that was actually very rude. And that was shocking. That was surprising. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh my God.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but other than that, like everybody's so open and just like what was it? In Orlando, Dr. Michael Bodden. I was like walking in between like one of the sessions, and he was just standing right there, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to take this opportunity. And he's just
Uh-huh.
down. Hey, do you want a photo? And I'm like, you are Dr. Michael Bodden.
Yeah.
But that's what, like you said, everybody, like that's the way people are accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Exactly.
yeah, it's so cool. One of our good friends, Kylie from Primetime Crime. If anybody like knows how to do Crime Con right, it is Kylie. We're all waiting for her how to do Crime Con episode. She's the person that, because you look at the schedule when it comes and it's like, oh my God, which panel do I want to do? Like, because there's panels all the time. She's the one person that if she was like, I actually attended every single one every single day, I'd be like, I totally believe that you were able to schedule that.
Yeah, no, Kylie like deductive reasonings the shit out of those schedules. I don't know how she does it, but I do remember that last year, her specifically being like, yes, there's like 800 panels, but I'm going to pick the best possible ones. And da, 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 da,
Mhm.
da. And then she still had time to like socialize with all of us and go to all of our
I
things. And
know.
I spent a
Oh.
lot of time on Creator Row because I just wanted to like connect and meet people, but I did go to several talks, and I'm kind of glad I did it that way because I just really wanted to like take that time to like unplug and socialize with everyone.
Mm.
But I made sure to like go to some really important talks as well. But yeah, I'm hoping this year, now that I kind of know the lay of the land a little bit more, that I'll get to sit in some more seminars because those were very, very cool. I like had my notebook and was like taking notes and
I love that. I love
yeah.
that. Um, One of the things that always stuck with me when I went to, yeah, it was CrimeCon. Was it Orlando? Stacy Chapin, so Ethan Chapin's mom from the Idaho murders. So
Mm-hmm.
she did a panel, and it always, I left CrimeCon, and that was like one of the things that has been in my head ever since I went there. And I always try to take that anytime I go live because it was just like, for her, it was just a statement in passing, I think, on stage. But I'm like, oh my God. She said, where, and I'm just, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something to the effect of like, we kind of go about our lives and we put on the TV or YouTube or what, or a podcast and listen to something for an hour. And we're like, okay, cool. And then turn the phone off and go about our day. And she's like,
Exactly.
this is our life.
Yeah.
We don't get to close our laptop or close our phone. This is our life every day. And
Mm-hmm.
just to make sure that the audience really remembers that, once you're done with that 1 hour episode, we move on. They don't.
Yep.
And it just really, really stuck with me. And I was like, I want to take that just into what I do and just be so conscious of that. It was so well
Mm-hmm.
said.
That's important. Yeah. No, absolutely. There's a case that's coming to my mind that I covered a while back, and it consumed me for a while. It's the deepest dive I ever did, the Yuba County Five, and it was a
Mm.
three-part series. Um, and after I covered part one, I got an email from this author. His name's Tony Wright.
Oh, Tony. Yeah, I know him. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been on here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
love
love
Tony.
Tony. Yeah. I was like, why is this author emailing me? What? And he was like, hey, I pretty closely follow anybody who releases anything at all about the Yuba County Five because I wrote this book and blah 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 blah. And like I didn't know. Um, but as soon as he like I can't remember. I was either like already reading his book or he emailed me and then I started reading his book. But all that to say, by the third part of the series, he came on and we did an interview. But he like introduced me to, I mean, loved ones of
Mm,
these five men and like added me into their Facebook like little private group. And I
amazing.
got one kind of negative comment where they were like, I don't understand why she's releasing it in three parts. That kind of seems clickbaity. All the other comments I got, it was like, finally, someone is actually covering this factually. And that just like made me really sad, honestly. It wasn't like a prideful thing of like, oh, this is great. It just made me sad. I was like, these men disappeared so long ago and then were found in such a horrific way. And nothing has ever come from that. It's just a complete mystery. And these families were just left shattered like that. And then it's such a classic mystery that everyone covers. Like it's such a popular one. So the fact that it's been covered that many times and these families have like seen and known that, like there were these comments where it was just like, I've just grown so tired. I don't have the strength to like watch anything related to this anymore. So the fact that like Tony, you're kind of screening these things for us. Thank you for like not wasting my time, basically, is like
Mhm.
what these families were saying. And
Yeah.
so I I get what you're saying and I don't think that everybody does get that. And there's definitely people that I've talked to that are not in podcasting. They just like consume. And yeah, they don't always get it. And so I think that that's a good thing for everybody to think about because the cases we cover can happen to anyone. Um,
Yes.
I'm also a survivor of domestic abuse. And so maybe that's part of why I am a little bit more thoughtful of things like that.
Mhm.
But that's just a big thing in the true crime community is a lot of us get into these fields, if you will, because we have had some type of experience with it.
Mm.
So I don't know. I'm honored that I kind of stumbled into this and that I am learning from each and every one of you guys. Um, I don't know. It's exciting and cool. And I'm in this space now where like I just moved to this new apartment and I just like got my studio set up and we kind of just started the fourth season and it just feels really good this year.
Oh, good. I'm so happy to hear that you're so happy and in such a good place with that. And thank you for sharing, that you were a victim of domestic violence. Thank you for being just so open and sharing that because not everybody does. And it's, for those who do, you're using your platform to reach people who maybe, even just listening to you through the microphone, like you're
Hmm.
making connections. And it's
Right.
just so, so important. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. And just to, in regards to kind of making that full circle a little bit with, with Tony Wright, I know one of the things that I really took away from his book about the Yuba County Five and where one of the things I said to him, and I'm sure, yeah, I'd love to hear your opinion on, kind of the true crime genre and how it's evolved is his book is so victim focused.
Yeah.
And true crime has not been like that for a long time. And I
Hmm.
feel that, in my opinion, let me know if you feel different, where the tide is really shifting now. So it's
Hmm.
very victim focused in the right way. Um, have you seen that in kind of either your coverage of, on your show or just being a consumer of, the true crime genre? Have you seen it kind of evolve?
Yeah, no, definitely. If I think back to like when I was younger and I would watch like unsolved mysteries and stuff, and like sometimes I'll go back and watch old seasons, it's all about the murder.
Mm,
And I'm like, I want to know more about this person. And I also think that if it were my loved one, like how traumatic, how shocking that it's being simplified into their death and like the worst thing that ever happens to them. So, yeah, I do think the tide is shifting. I still think there's a lot of work to do, and there's definitely still videos and content that I won't call out anyone in particular, but there's definitely still things that I see where I am like not impressed and it's triggering and it's like y'all need to do better.
yeah.
But yeah, as a whole, I think that people started to realize, I don't know, there's meaning behind these names and faces. Um, I don't know exactly why that started, maybe with the combination of social media, and just podcasts getting more popular, but I'm glad that it's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There is a friendly face here and name that we both know and love. Your host, Jules.
Ah, hi, Jules.
Kadra's amazing. All right.
You're amazing.
Her research. So Kadra's research is top notch. Her opinions are backed by her convictions and education, and she's a baddie.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you so much.
So she also adds, Bellwitch is my area. I covered it on my podcast. We kayak the Red River past the Bellwitch. It's a huge deal in my
Oh,
country, Robertson County.
yes,
I said country, county. My bad.
I covered the Bell Witch, I think maybe last Halloween. Like not this one in 2025, but I think 2024. The
Mhm.
Bell Witch is a very scary and classic story from Tennessee. So that's awesome, Jules.
Oh, we love Jules. We love Jules. Glad you're here in the
Yeah.
chat.
Yes, me and Jules covered the Keddy Cabin murders recently on my show, and that was, I think, the last big true crime deep dive as of late that I have done. But that was kind of how we launched season 4, and
Mhm.
yeah, that was insane.
So while we Beckham, I will send her the photo. Beckham, I'm not gonna. Okay, Kaydra, the thing with Beckham is he likes to make his presence known and take over. And no, I'll send you the photo after Beckham. It's fine. It's
Beckham.
fine. God, Kaydra, I will introduce you in person and be like, "This is Beckham. This is who I deal with every week. Now he's yours, and you can babysit
He's
him for
my
like a half
problem
hour or
now.
something."
Oh my gosh.
She's adding many funeral homes are owned by the Bell family.
Oh, I don't love that.
So oh goodness, I need to look that up because I don't know. So if anybody has any question for Kaydra, put it in the chat. But as we wind down, so for people who do not follow you, whether your podcast or your social media, where can people find you?
Yeah. So anywhere you get your podcasts, it's just Perplexity, a mystery podcast. And then I'm also on YouTube. So if you are watching, on your YouTube, you can just search me, Perplexity, a mystery podcast, and subscribe, follow along. I release new episodes every Wednesday.
Nice, nice. I do have links in the description bar below for your YouTube channel and all of your social media handles. But if you just want to quickly let people know, like where can they find you? Like on Instagram or TikTok,
Yeah.
Facebook?
Yeah, I'm not super active on TikTok, but I do have a TikTok. I'm mostly on Instagram, and I know the Instagram is at Perplexity Mystery Podcast. I think the TikTok is the same, but oops, sorry. I'm double checking. I hate how you open TikTok and it's immediately like full
Yeah,
volume. Here's this thing. Yeah, on TikTok it's also Perplexity Mystery Podcast.
nice. Everybody definitely make sure to subscribe to her YouTube channel for sure, because you're already here. So go follow her over there. Subscribe to the
Yeah.
podcast, socials, all the things. Jules has a question for you. Kaydra, have you considered writing a book?
No, I have not. Oh my goodness. No. When I was a kid, I used to write short stories. But yeah, now, I mean, with where my life is at right now, I'm like, what the heck would I don't know what I would write a book about, but who knows? I'll never say never.
Mm. I'm like, honestly, I feel like we could have like done an interview with you for like each aspect of your life, because I feel like there's like so much I would want to know about every single thing. So
I will say I do
support a
have a lot
book.
of stories. I do have a lot of stories. So yeah, maybe if this ghost hunting thing continues, I can write a book about that or something.
Mm, that would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah. So Jules, I'm right there. I support. So I have a question for you. This is usually the last question I leave for everybody, because to me, it's the most important question. So Kaydra, I actually already know the answer because I was on your website, but for those who don't know, do you have any pets? We are a very, very pet friendly community here. I have 6 cats, so I'm a cat lady, but
Oh,
do
yeah.
you have any pets?
So I have my cat, and I don't know where he is. Alexander Hamilton, and
Oh,
he's a black cat. He's a
no.
Bombay, so he's a big cat. And then I have shared custody of my dog, Atreus. To not get into too much detail, I live by myself now. That's a story for a whole nother day. But
Yeah.
I see my dog, Atreus, maybe like once a week or so, and he's a cute little terrier mix chihuahua. He's like 15 pounds soaking wet, and he does that cute thing where dogs sit on their hind legs and they do this. He's very vocal, and he's a total lap dog.
Oh, Love that. Love that. I grew up with Chihuahuas before I became a crazy cat lady. So, oh my God, you have like the best of like all of the worlds.
I
Mm.
love being a dog mom and a cat mom. It really is best of both. I was a cat mom for a very long time and then got Atreus during the pandemic and was like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, I love everything about being a dog mom, but it's very different. Cats and dogs are quite literally very different breeds. So,
Mhm.
it's a
Mhm.
fun balance. But when the dog and the cat were both living in the same house, they would like wrestle and like play all the time. And now that it's just me and the cat at the house, he's a lot more like calm again. I think it like got him really anxious. So it kind of worked out that way for them too. But yeah,
Oh,
I love my animals. I've always been a very big animal lover.
amazing. I love that. Absolutely love that. Do they make an appearance on your YouTube channel at all?
Sometimes. So literally, I think my last video that just came out is about New Orleans Black history, and then we also talk about Madame LaLaurie. And so this tapestry back here, my cat is very curious about. And so I'm pretty sure at like the very beginning of the video, you see him like climbing up and trying to like get on the tapestry and like on these tables. And then I had to like cut and like kick him out of the studio because he was just being freaking ridiculous. So yeah, sometimes he makes an appearance. Sometimes you just see his little black tail like going across the background. And I'm like, it is what it is.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Y'all, like, okay, audience, go. Not that you weren't going to go over and subscribe to her YouTube channel before, but like, you get to see a cat. So, yeah,
I'd be happy to have you guys. Absolutely.
that is amazing. Well, Kaydra, thank you so much for coming on my channel and telling us about yourself and your podcast and yeah, all of the things. And I'm just so, I know I said this before we came on. I'm so excited to see you again at Comic-Con this
Yes, I'm
year.
very excited to see you too. Yeah, no, this was wonderful. Super happy to be here.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of Danny After Dark. Again, go subscribe to everything Kaydra, her podcast, her YouTube channel. Follow her on Instagram, TikTok. All of the information is in the drop down bar below. So no excuse. Go find it and see her cat on her YouTube channel. Her
Go
cat.
see
If you're
Alice in
anything
her
else, go see
Hamilton.
the cats.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you again, Kaydra, as well, for being here tonight.
Very welcome.
And remember, everybody, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.